Good morning. Who is your employee in your S corporation? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what do you consider minor services performed by shareholders in your business. And finally, should you collect distributions, dividends, or wages from your S corp? So if you have an L.L.C that you requested to be taxed as an S corp, or you form an S corporation, if you have more than one shareholders in your S corp, and those shareholders perform services in your business, well, are they your employees? Or do they just perform minor services that does not consider them as employees? So let's see. If the services they perform in your S corporation entitle them to any sort of payment, you have to consider that payment as wages. Therefore, they become shareholders, employees of your business. So if whatever services they perform in the S Corp and they receive payment, or they are entitled to a payment for the services, they are employees of the business, and any payment made to them related to the service they perform should be considered wages subject to employment and unemployment taxes. So what do we consider as minors? Before, let me give you an example. We have an L.L.C that we file and request it to be taxed as an S corp. I'm the sole employee of our S corp. My husband works a little bit for the business, but not much. So he's not collecting any payments, and consequently, any loss from the S corp, his share of the loss does not go on our personal taxes either, because in the past he has not put in a lot of time for his time in the business to be considered, for him to be considered as active in the business. Therefore, the loss in the business, his share of the loss on his Schedule K1 does not go on our 1040. And so I consider the service he performed to the business, or what he have done in the past, as minor services. So as a shareholder, he's not an employee of our S Corp, but as a shareholder, I'm an employee of our S Corp. So what do we consider as minor services that a shareholder could perform and not be classified as an employee of the S Corp? Well, any services that your shareholders perform in the business and they don't get paid, and they are not entitled to any sort of payment related to those services, they are not employees of your business. Therefore, any distributions they collect are non-wage distribution, and they are not subject to employment taxes. So if they perform minor services that does not generate revenue to the business, and does not, they don't need to collect payment for those services, therefore they are not employees. And when they collect dividend or any sort of distribution from the S Corp net income, those distributions are non-wage distribution, and they are not subject to FICA or FUTA. And for as a minor services, I can give you an example of my husband. He purchased, like in the past, he will purchase business supplies for us from the grocery store, and performing those services once in a while he's not putting a lot, he didn't put a lot of time in the S Corp for him to be classified as an employee, and he didn't collect any payment, distribution, dividend, or wages. So if he has collected a payment out of our S Corp net income, a distribution, it won't be employment tax won't be collected out of that, because that will be a non-wage distribution. But he didn't collect anything. So, and over time, as the business grew and he's spending more time performing different taxes, different duties or tax in the business, including purchasing those supplies and shipping orders. This year he shipped some orders for us, and I asked him to track his time so that I can recall that, to see how much hours he put into the business, for me to see if he's can be classified as an employee. But I think the first classification that he's going to make will be to materially participate in the business. So I'm going to evaluate that, and then I will see if he's entitled to any sort of payment, depending on the time he'll put in it. But the first thing he'll meet in my book will be materially participate in the business for any loss to be for his share of loss to be pouring out 1040. And when you are reporting a loss, a shareholder loss, like in my husband's case, if a loss of the business will be pouring out 1040, as that'll go on Schedule K first though, as a native shareholder in the business, that means that at some point he's an employee as well. So if he's materially participating in the business, meeting that number of hours he should be working in the business, that is putting him toward the range of being, toward that area that he should be considered as an employee and collecting and collect a sort of a salary as well. So I'm tracking his time, when he, depending on what he's doing, when he's business related, and business meeting times, I'm collecting those as well. So, and to see what part of his time generates us revenue, what part of his time is just to evaluate the overall business, or process and procedures and all that. So we have to see if he's performing a minor services as a shareholder, to know how the business is doing, or if he's performing services that is generating revenue or helping us employees in the business to generate revenue. So that, there is a lot of things to consider. So the next things that we wanted to talk about is, should you collect distributions, dividends, or wages from your S Corp? So if you are a sole shareholder and employee of your S Corp, you should not be collecting any sort of distribution and dividend from your S Corp. You have to pay yourself wages for your time on the business. So if you cannot pay yourself wages, you shouldn't be collecting any other non-wages distribution from your S Corp. So anything you collect from the S Corp should be considered wages or salaries, and subject to employment tax and unemployment tax, FUTA and FICA and FUTA. So if you as a rule of thumb, if your business is doing well and you can pay yourself salaries and you want to pay yourself some wages distribution, just make sure that your non-wage distribution does not exceed your wage distribution, your wage that is subject to employment tax or and unemployment taxes. That way you are not going to raise a red flag with your business tax when you file taxes when you file them. So when if your business is not doing well, for you to collect wages from the business, you should not be paying yourself bonuses or non-wages distributions or dividend including. You shouldn't be doing that, because anything you take out of your S Corp should be considered wages and subject to employment and unemployment taxes. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman, owners of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel and owners of our blog ninassoap.com and our natural product online store ninassoap.com, where we sell natural handmade soap made with quality oil, and we have napkins, individual hand towels that you can use in the bathroom, or napkins that you can use to eat at your office and keep mess off of your table. We have all those made out of 100% cotton or 100% bamboo, or a blend of bamboo and cotton. So you'll see them on our website. Thank you for watching, and we have label.com, our custom design apparel and stationery as well. Good luck with your business.